Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We're going to continue. As I said, we were doing Chovas HaLevavos. We're going to get back to that, but we veered off into a new sefer. I put a bookmark where we're up to. The Igeret Ramban. Why the Igeret Ramban, first of all? I became mesmerized by the brilliant pirush of the Rav Don Segal, and we're up to the second and third parts. Now, again, to give a little bit of introduction to what this is about it's called the Letter of the Ages. Bli Neder, whoever wants, I'm going to get a small copy of it. For those that want, they could review it. They could have a pocket. Not this. This has not been translated in English. But anyways, the Ramban, one of the two greatest Sephardic rabbis, was the Rambam Maimonides and the Ramban Nachmanides. He wrote this letter to his son to teach him how to be humble.
Which one? The one who was the doctor in Egypt?
Both of them were doctors. This was a doctor in Spain.
Both of them were doctors?
Yeah, both of them were.
This one in Spain, okay. After the one in Egypt, right?
Yeah. So in the introduction to this letter, they say that he tells everybody ve'yu regilim ba ba'al peh. Now, the Ramban in the oral tradition said that this letter is so important, like we said last time also. At the end he says whoever reads it, the Ramban will be his lawyer, advocate in Shamayim, that whatever you want from God, whatever your heart desires, he's going to try to...
If he's going to follow his advice.
Yeah, if you follow the advice of the letter, he's going to be like your advocate, your lawyer in heaven, your guardian angel, that Hashem should answer your prayers. So it says on page Vav, it says V'yu regilim ba ba'al peh. Now, this is such an important letter. It's the right thing that a person should even know it by heart. You understand? Now he says something so beautiful and meaningful here. He says, באמת יש כאן חידוש, כי אנחנו מבינים בפשטות שהמעלה של לימוד בעל פה שייכת בלימוד משנה וגמרא. He says, you may think to know something by heart is only Mishnah or Gemara or Halacha. You know, there's two parts to our Torah. The oral part, for many thousands of years, wasn't written. It was an oral tradition. But how do you know that a person should even memorize something ethical? Because he said, you may think superficially it's a negative thing. Why? Because Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, a yeshiva that you were talking about before, Ner Israel, is named after Rabbi Yisrael Salanter.
He was the first yeshiva?
No, he was the one that founded the Musar movement. Like the Baal Shem Tov found the movement of Chassidut, he found the movement of a person should work on self-improvement.
How many years ago he was living?
Like around 150 years ago.
Where, in Israel?
No, in Europe.
Europe, okay.
So now, he says that Rabbi Yisrael Salanter taught us that when a person learns Musar, to be a better person. Let's say you want to work on yourself not to get angry. You want to work on yourself not to be...
jealous
or instant gratification. Musar has to be learned with emotionally. So you may think that you have to learn it from inside a sefer. You with me, Shani? But he says, in order for... I'm on the top of Dav Vav. Dav Zayin. So he says, he says, when you know something, unfortunately, you know, sometimes when you learn something by heart, sometimes it takes away the beauty of it. And it just becomes like robotic. You understand? So he says you might be worried that that's what it does with this letter. So he says, Amnam ha'emet hi sha'af belimud ha'musar yesh mala yub regilim balpeh. So he says that's wrong. Because you know the ultimate Torah has to be written in your mind and heart.
It should be engraved in your mind and heart.
Exactly. It should be engraved in your mind and heart. So that you never forget it. Not only Gemara, not only Halacha, not only Mishnais, but even Musar. You understand? Because he says that Ki be'emet yesh belimud shtei. Whenever you learn something, there's two aspects to it. One aspect of it is shetiyeh la'adam yediat hadvarim, to know the facts. The other part is v'ashavot levavecha, to have an emotional connection to it, which is really what bina, you know. In every day in Shemona Esrei, we ask Hashem, Ata chonen la'adam da'at u'melamed l'rosh bina. Chokhmah, bina, da'at. Rosh tevot Chabad.
Chokhmah, bina,
Da.
da.
Those are the three.
Chabad.
Yeah, those are the three levels of understanding.
What does Chabad mean?
It's the acronym.
I know. Does it have the meaning?
No, it means chokhmah bina da'at.
Okay.
So, the issue over here is, a lot of times a person knows that something, like let's say sugar is bad, but you have to have emotional motivation, not only to know the facts, but to be able to
Abstain from it.
exactly, but to understand it in your heart in order to carry it out. So one level is chokhmah, to know the facts, to know the. Then bina is to emotionally understand it. Da'at is to understand it so well that even in places you understand the underpinnings of it, that even in places where you don't explicitly know or didn't learn about it, you could apply it. You understand? It's like Ruach HaKodesh. It's like the common sense aspect of it. So he goes over here to explain further that one aspect of it is to know the facts, and another aspect is to get it in your heart. ובאמת, כשאדם רגיל בעל פה, זה שגור זה לשונו, הוא יכול מדי פעם להראות עצמו מוסר שגורים ללשונו. Now, if you know something בעל פה, the beauty of knowing something by heart is that you could always refer back to it in your mind. You know? Even when you're alone, even when you're in Shabbat, even when you're taking a walk, right? You could always be connected to it. הוא יכול מדי פעם לעורר עצמו, וכמו שאדם מנוסים להגיד פסוק של ביטחון שהדי זמר. For example, right now, one of the most popular things is people work on trusting God, ביטחון. So, he says that, we know that it's brought down in the holy books that if a person says the psukim of bitachon, right? It's going to help a person to have more trust in God. So same thing over here. It says, Moreno HaMashgiach Rabbi Yecheskel Levenstein, he says our master Rabbi Yecheskel Levenstein would say, there's a pasuk in Yirmiyah, chapter Jeremiah, chapter 7, pasuk 28. It says, "V'amarta Elohim ze goy asher lo shamu bekol Elokav v'lo lakhu musar, avda emunah v'nichreta b'teihem." So he said, why did a person lose this trust in God? He says, "Ki nichreta mipihem, mishum shem lo medabrim al emunah, lechen avda emunah." He says,
I have an answer for the main reason right now.
Yeah, but just one second. Okay. Let's see what Rabbi Yecheskel Levenstein is saying. He's saying, if God forbid we don't learn about something and teach it to our kids, talk it to our brothers, our sisters, the rabbi to teach about it, like Baruch Hashem, there's been a revival in our generation by some big, great Syrian tzaddikim and about like bitachon, trusting God. And Rabbi Ashir about talking about emunah. But he says, why does a person lose his trust and faith in God?
So he becomes atheist?
No, he's like cold. He's not excited. He's not really connected to Hashem He says because when a person doesn't talk about it, you lose it. You understand? When you learn about it, when you're growing about it. And I want to review what we said yesterday. He brought something very beautiful from, you weren't here last time. He said, the Stipler says you need to learn Musar every day. Even if you miss one day, it's like you missed 100 days. Because our relationship to Hashem is like building. I'm going to mention this later in the last part of our shir on the Parsha. Talmidei Chachamim, every second of the day and every day of your life, you're building your character. You're building your integrity. You're building your relationship with Hashem. So, I tell you something beautiful I saw. We're going to be learning Pirkei Avot soon. It's going to be Pesach in the 7 weeks. It says, on three things a person, the world, right? One of the first Mishnayot in Pirkei Avot is, the world is on three pillars. Torah, learning Torah, serving God, and doing kindness. So the great masters of Musar, they say each person is like a mini world. You know that. That's why it says if you save one person's life, it's like you saved the entire world. Because each person is so unique. So he says just like the world needs three pillars, you in your own personal world, every day, the Zohar says you need to incorporate these three things. Every day you need to give charity, you need to be kind. Every day you need to learn Torah. Every day you need to what? Pray to God. Right? 3 times. Shacharit, Mincha, Arbit. The same thing is, Baruch Hashem, like there's so many WhatsApp chats, and Baruch Hashem, by now there's thousands. Rabbi Yasher, I think, has 7 books now on Art Scroll. Living Emunah. And like there's Michael Safdie, and on a Torah anytime there's tens of thousands of shiurim. He says you need to discuss and grow and debate and understand the inner pinnings of belief in God, of trust on God. But if you don't, then your emunah is going to become what?
Diminished.
That's why when you talk about something, it also creates you to be warm in it in your heart. But if you never talk about it, so that's why he says, that's why the Ramban wanted that his descendants and children and all the Jews to not only study this letter that teaches you how to be humble and that you should go to heaven, you should even know it, what? By heart. Okay, that concludes the first part of the shir.